Hi everyone. Today I am here at the Avrame Canada show home. I'm going to be talking with Tosh. He's the Avrame Canada rep. We're going to be talking about purchasing a kit home from Avrame and getting it shipped to Canada, all the details about that. And we're also getting a nice look at the inside of a finished Avrame Trio 132. Let's get into today's video. I'm here with Tosh, Avrame Canada's rep, and we're gonna get a tour right now of what a completed Avrame Trio 132 looks like. Let's go.
So come inside our side entry dormer, and then the main living space. So you can see it's an open concept living space, living room on one side, kitchen on the other, and double opening patio doors to the large deck off the front. And also we chose to have an open cathedral ceiling for maximum light and glass in the living space. You can see we have a wood burning fireplace. In the kitchen, any configuration you want works. We have a large island here and on the side with sink and all the rest of the amenities. And over here at the back, we have two matching bedrooms and a full bath. All right, now we see the downstairs. Let's head upstairs. All right, so welcome to the second floor. You can see we have a nice kind of lounge office work space here. This really highlights this cathedral ceiling we've done and the great view you have downstairs and inside through the large windows. On the other side, we have the door to our primary bedroom, which also has an ensuite bath.
Wow, Tosh, it feels so cool to be inside of a finished Avrame house. I can just I can start to see a little bit more about what ours will look like once we're finally finished and living in it. Like it just absolutely, it's so cool. It is such a cool house.
Thank you. Yeah, I was so happy with it too. How it turned out.
So awesome. So questions for you. My first one is, what's your background? Was your background in building beforehand, or how did you get into Avrame Homes specifically?
Yeah, not a building background. Probably what the average person does, kind of growing up here and there, but business background, accounting, looking for a career change. And I was just exploring opportunities and came across Avrame and Avrame, as we say here more, and reached out to them and then started, the local representation, which has just kind of grown over the last 3 years.
So for how long have you been doing Avrame Homes, and how many homes have been built in Canada?
Yeah, so I first contract with Avrame was late 2020. So we're coming up on 4 years I've been with the company, and we're approaching 40 homes.
Wow.
In Canada. That's just growth looking forward to.
And from coast to coast?
Yeah, so we have projects that I've been a part of completed East Coast, Nova Scotia into Quebec, many in Ontario, and a couple in BC, and then we're getting more interest in Calgary, Alberta area as well. So it's really spreading. It's great to see.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So for your home, did you use a builder for this? And I guess a follow-up question would be, what do you recommend for people if they're considering an Avrame home, if they have no experience or a little experience, or if they're a seasoned carpenter? What do you recommend, and how do you think a builder would best help someone to build their own Avrame home?
Yeah, so my experience was, I call it a hybrid. I would call myself a project manager, but did rely on an experienced builder who was kind of a guide for me. He told me the steps, process, and what I had to organize for myself, but I oversaw everything. Mm-hmm. I'd say if you don't have experience, the builder can add a lot of value. Yeah. There's more to building than just receiving our kit and putting it together. you would know.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a sequence of events that have to be followed in steps, and there's a knowledge you probably don't have.
Right.
So the builder, there is a premium to going that route, handing off a project to someone, but every year I do appreciate that premium more and more, the value that they're offering.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of building experience, you will have no problem bringing our home together. It's, again, as you know, pre-cut, comes together perfectly, follow the plane.
Yeah.
But if you're not sure about yourself and you find yourself stumbling and have questions, you might want to maybe consider a hybrid model like I did, and to find the right contractor that's there to work with you and negotiate the scope of work.
So you said you chose to use like a hybrid where you had a builder and you oversaw like the grand scope of it. How did your builder feel about doing a kit home? And how do you feel that builders feel generally about kit homes? And is there things that might deter them from wanting to? Like, what's your experience in that?
So my experience, my builder was great. He was happy to work with the kit once he understood what was coming. And I help clients paint a very clear picture for any contractor they're speaking with about quotes. Here is what we're supplying, reference materials, videos, even your YouTube channels. Here's what you're getting into, and that helps a builder understand it, and then they're more open to taking on the project that way.
Right.
So that's what happened with my builder. Once he understood it, he was happy to run with it, and he loved it. And also, I'd say what I found over the years is younger contractors, builders, they're more open to handling a kit home.
Right.
I find some of the legacy builders want to have more control over design, supply, the whole process. So I think maybe there's a generational thing, but it's just getting the knowledge to the contractor.
Right.
Here's what you're getting into, and once they see it, every builder has loved it, the process.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so did you have any obstacles during your build? And over you said almost 40 homes in Canada so far, what are some of the most common obstacles that people face with building an Avrame kit?
Yeah, I had obstacles, and there's always unforeseens. Mine were mostly my property, the land,
right,
water, rock. These things, they'll happen.
Regardless of what type of house you put in.
Right, and sometimes the luxury of time to do the due diligence, especially with the market, right, if you want land. So there's going to be kind of just building obstacles in general that you're going to encounter. Mm-hmm. From the Avrame side, we've done so many homes now, and with the planning and understanding the proper foundation and what you're getting into, it helps eliminate any surprises on our side. And again, when the structure is pre-cut,
right,
and have the detail, every piece is marked, it's responds there, it aligns with the plans and even the connections. So from our side with the home project, I'd say there's very, very little I encountered with the Avrame kit. It was more just, I'd say more, your run-of-the-mill building issues that you hit with electricians and groundwork and the well or septics. These things happen. Mm-hmm. But for our piece of the project, it's been very consistent and very easy for people. Yeah, once they're set up for it.
Okay. So with purchasing an Avrame kit, like what types of choices do you have from the foundation to the finish? What sorts of things do you get to choose about what your finished house will look like?
Yeah, so you get a lot of input into the final home, and every design it to being a bit different in some way. From the foundation, our structure will work on any type of foundation. Mm-hmm. So if you want the full basement, no problem. If you don't need it, a more simple sonotubes, a slab, it all works, and we will incorporate that into your design. When you get into the structure in the home, the Avrame kit itself, between dormers, interior framing, which all can be moved, cathedral ceilings, even removing beams, two-story dormers, you have all of this input into your design. You stay within our engineering,
right?
Because that's one of our efficiencies, but we've over the years it's become more and more flexible what we can do and offer. So you really do make the home your design. The triangle stays the same height and width, but after that, it's yours to shape however you want.
Yeah, and we really appreciate that with choosing our kit and then working with the team to design a floor plan that we hope will work really well for our family too.
Exactly. So it's a great process. We do draft A, B, C, D until we have it right where you want it. Yeah.
So with an Avrame kit being built in Canada, all the material is still coming from Europe. So question for you, how did you find that the quality of the lumber that came from Europe compared to Canadian? And why would someone choose to build a house lumber from across the ocean rather than just lumber from here?
Common question.
Yeah.
Why lumber from Europe when here we are in Canada? But I will say it's the feedback from most clients and many contractors, and they even feel the materials, the lumber. I mean, it is perfect. It is larger dimensions than what we see with our Canadian standards, and it's cut again perfectly. It's very impressive. Mm-hmm. The windows. Again, you just feel by the weight and quality, and we know the energy.
Weight. They're so heavy.
That says a lot right there, and we know the energy values and the efficiency. So, overall, I have such a high regard for this European standard that we're getting the benefit of bringing these homes into Canada.
Yeah.
And again, I know why lumber from Europe, but it is a bit different. And again, the quality, I think, is just a step above.
Yeah, I remember when we were framing, I was blown away at how small the knot holes were and how few boards were twisted. Like the lumber was all like perfect.
Yeah, I mean, locally, too often you go into a hardware store and there's hockey sticks, and it's just you're picking through piles trying to find a good 2x10 or whatever that piece may be. But the care they put into selecting their lumber and what's coming over, the treatment of it, how it's wrapped even and packaged, arriving at your site, these materials are just there to set you up for success in the build, because you're not dealing with any of those imperfections or poor quality materials. So it's been great for everybody.
So I purchased a kit. We already talked about the quality of the lumber.
Yeah.
After we make the purchase, like how does the material actually get from Europe over here to Canada, and like how does the importing of all that stuff work out?
Yeah, it's nice. So you as the client, you don't have to worry about organizing your own logistics, ships, trains, trucks, all these things. We handle that for you. So we will organize the shipping. All the rates are presented to you first for your confirmation. And, over the years, we've got to a point now where, I will handle all your logistics. I have partners that we will receive, by shipping containers into Montreal, Toronto, rail to Calgary, wherever it needs to be. We'll even put it on a flatbed truck for you now for a very easy offloaded site. Years past, it was pulling stuff out of the can, sea container on site, and it could be difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
So, it's just with time, there's been improvements, and this new flatbed delivery makes the delivery process incredibly easy compared to, like, say, year one when we were doing it. And on the custom side, it's nothing for you to worry about. I do all I work with a broker and all the paperwork, and we move your goods for you. So it should be, I try to make it as low touch, like peace of mind for you as possible on that delivery.
So you make the purchase and it will arrive.
And just give me a month and then be ready on this day for your materials to show on. That's the goal. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting to the nitty gritty. In Canada, with all the different municipalities and even provincially, like, how do you go about acquiring a permit for a build, and are there any hiccups or difficulties with getting a permit for an A-frame style house?
Yeah, some people think a permit for an A-frame could be difficult because it's different. It's a traditional build, but really it's a very sound structure, and that's what they care about more. Your local building official. So all of our homes, because they are designed in Europe, the biggest part of it for the permit is a structural stamp of approval from a licensed engineer, which we put on all our plans. And normally I will help you and assist you. I have engineers I work with that can provide that. But as soon as they see a stamp, just common these days, pretty much any structure, most structures, it makes an easier path with your permit.
Right.
The other elements are heating designs, plumbing, electrical, and a site plan. Again, I'm there to help with that part of the process. If you're outside Ontario, we do have to maybe lean on some other local resources for heating, designs, and things like this. But it's been very easy overall, actually, with permits.
Yeah, that's really good to hear.
Yeah.
So as an Avrame Rep, what specifically do you do, and what do you do to help if someone was looking to purchase a kit? What is it specifically that you do in your role that helps them to get that kit into their driveway?
Yeah, so my role really begins with your initial inquiry, questions about the product. I'll give you all the information you need. And from there, I'm going to be part of the process throughout the whole thing, but the bulk of my service will end when the kit arrives at your site. But in between there, it's your questions, it's budgeting, it's working on your design, finalizing a quote for you, giving you shipping estimates, doing the import, trucking, final logistics, And then I'm even getting involved more as my network grows, builder contacts that you can work with to help your project and put you in the right hands, permits. So there's a lot of the building work is in the planning.
Right.
And that's where I come in and play the biggest role, helping in your planning, organizing your design materials, and getting that home to your site.
I've even found that with the build that we're doing is that so much of the time is just set up.
Yeah.
And if everything's set up properly, the rest of it just flows.
And I coach people, the more planning you put in, the more time you give yourself, it's really going to help the entire process. If you try to go fast and rush things, permit ready to build, it just seems to be, a bit of a bumpy process. But planning, as you said, is a huge piece to teeing up the project for success.
So with a kit home, if I was interested in purchasing one, from my first inquiry online, how long does the process take? Like from that first inquiry to getting the kit delivered, let's say.
Yeah.
But then also the time frame to build the house. What's the average time frame that you've seen?
Yeah. On the beginning part of the process with, when I'm working with your design and get those materials organized, there is some variability on how fast you work through your design. So some people take a week, some people take 2 months.
I know,
there's a range there for sure. Yeah.
We had a lot of back and forth in our design.
Yeah.
Like we changed, I don't know how many times.
And it's part of it though, because we want it to be right. So, but it's not that's a variable that is unique to every project. But I'd say on average, with gathering information, working your design, maybe we're 2 months in that kind of window. From the day you order, we receive the deposit, production starts. Everything's made to order, nothing's in inventory, so your house is made for you. Windows, roofing source, lumber, everything. From the day of order, it's about a 4-month turnaround time, and that's to delivery. So the whole initial part with us, maybe you budget around 6 months. In that time, as you're waiting for your home, there's work you can do at the site level in preparation.
Right, like your foundation, septic, water, depending on
Right. So it's not just dead time in the project. You can use that time waiting for materials to prepare for the next steps. Now, when the home arrives, you get to unpacking it and starting the framing. I think the number to use for a budgeted build, and this is to the last baseboard going on, full finish, is probably around a year.
Right.
To get your occupancy, you could probably take a few months off that. Competency, number of people working on the home, huge factors. Right. So, but if you gave yourself a budgeted year to be fully finished and you're just bringing and close at that point, that's probably what I'd recommend. Yeah.
So Tosh, if someone is interested in an Avrame home, purchasing the kit, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I'm always happy to take a call or an email, and you can find that information on avramecanada.ca or avrame.com. But yeah, reach out anytime, and I'll give you the information you need to get started. And I know everyone has a million questions at the beginning.
Yeah, perfect. And I think we'll put your contact information in the description of the video as well.
Perfect.
So if anyone's curious about purchasing a home specifically in Canada, you're the person to talk to.
Send over the questions. Here to help.
Well, Tosh, it's been so great getting to see your place, and I get so excited. I want to go back home. I want to go back home and finish my
working.
So I could sit like this and finish home.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. You get to the end, just get to enjoy the space.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks.